Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, is the Arnold to my Schwarzenegger, Nate.
Look out!
Fuck, this episode's gonna be just. It's gonna be that. So, get yourself ready. If you were looking,
grab my hand.
Trick or treat. Jesus.
Get to the chopper.
Well, yes. Prepare thyself. This is what you're in store for. And of course,
La vista, devil.
And of course, with us is our queen of unsuspecting victims herself, Lisa.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. It's just everyone.
Get to the chopper.
Then fall out of the chopper. Then hang from the chopper and catch a guy.
Yeah, that happens.
Did you turn into Al Pacino at the end? I love that. I don't know what
I'm mixing
there.
a little bit of what was the one that we saw with him and Keanu? There's a little bit of
the devil's advocate
in there.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of devil's advocate in this movie, so we'll get into that. We'll get into that component.
We'll get into it quite a bit. Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, where each week we take a look at a different horror movie and debate a horror-related topic with our unsuspecting victim, who's usually not someone we would consider a horror fan. You know, it's Halloween. It's Halloween week. Halloween's coming up. This is our spooktacular for the year. And it just seems fitting with everything, with the world, that End of Days should be the Halloween episode.
Is that fitting?
Sure. At this point, no. So this week is our crossover spooktacular with our frenemies over at Why I Hate This Album. So, every year we have done a crossover episode where we review a movie and they review the corresponding soundtrack. So,
there's some bangers in this one.
Bangers is right. There's some stuff, and we're gonna get into the soundtrack. Now, we won't talk about too much because I want you to go and listen to Why I Hate This Album. They will go through in significantly more detail. But it's this sort of Saw Jigsaw-esque game that we play of who's gonna get it worse, like who's gonna have the worst time reviewing whatever they're reviewing.
It's classic. Would you like to hear a corn?
Yeah. Yeah. Admittedly, so many of these movies, very new metal.
There's so much
heavy.
Corn.
There's so much corn. I ate candy corn watching this, so it makes sense. Well, look, we're going to get into it. Lisa, I'm dying to know what you thought of End of Days. I mean, it's not every day you get, it's this and Predator are your only Arnold Schwarzenegger horror movies, right? Maybe there's another one in there.
Is Predator a horror movie? Well, I guess, is this a horror movie? It's more of an action. It's an action horror.
Predator is also a horror movie. It's a creature. If we did Prometheus at the beginning of this podcast.
It's fair. Think about it. The remake of Dawn of the Dead is more of an action film than a horror film, but you'd call it a horror film because it has zombies.
Hey, look, I think this is a horror movie. It's an action horror movie. I think.
I'm with that, and it has a soundtrack to match. And with that, let's actually check in with our buddies over at Why I Hate This Album. They've left us a voicemail, so this is probably going to be awesome.
Hey, this is Tim and Garrett from the Why I Hate This Album podcast. For our annual Halloween crossover event, you watch the movie, we also watch the movie. You listened a little to the soundtrack, we cover the soundtrack on our show. And Tim, I'm curious, do you think we made out this year? Movie or soundtrack? Which is better?
The movie is obviously better. Here's the thing. I am going to accuse Mitch, Nate, Lisa, other guy, I think there's a fourth guy. No. Debatable. They pulled some sort of inception here because for 3 years we have complained about them fucking us over, picking these films that, while not good, have far worse soundtracks, and the hell that we've gone through for that. And this year again, End of Days, I think follows the same pattern. The only difference is you suggested this.
Yeah, I don't know how they put the idea in my head. Some sort of Vulcan mind trick, Jedi magic. I don't know what it is.
I assume some sort of Leonardo DiCaprioing.
Yeah. You have multiple times accused people of invading your dreams.
They're in there,
to be seen. I'm not going to rule it out, but method aside, we drew the short stick. This soundtrack sucks. This movie, not great, based almost entirely around the center plot point being a rape. So also not the best. Is there anything in particular from the film that you want to make sure that you share that stood out to you for our friends over there on the Texas Podcast Massacre?
There's a couple of things. One, have you ever seen somebody crucify themselves as a suicide? That's question number one.
Classic septuagenarian suicide.
Question number two, why do you need to refrigerate pictures of ladies that are in jars?
Who is he hiding it from?
Also true. And my final question, better movie with Nicolas Kim Coppola Cage? I would argue yes. This either needs to be Nick Cage paired with Kevin Pollak, or you gotta go Arnold Schwarzenegger paired with Danny DeVito.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Or possibly a reteam from True Lies, Tom Arnold. He'd be an excellent Bobby
Either
Chicago.
Way, yeah. Either way, I
you guys
think
better
works.
talk about these names.
Yes. Scale of 1 to 10, how sexy is Gabriel Byrne? That's a trick question. We all know the answer to that.
With or without Satan?
Both. Give us both answers.
Yikes. Great questions, Tim. The only other thing I want to add to the list that I want to make sure you guys do talk about, Limp Bizkit. Best artist for a three-way, worst artist for a three-way?
It's best.
It's worst. Trick question.
Anyway, yes, so that's this. That's the whole movie. You don't need to bother listening to the rest of the episode. I think we covered it.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Please come join us, hatepod.com, or on all of your podcasting platforms. We appreciate the opportunity to do a crossover with you guys. Always a good time. And we hope that you come check out our review of the soundtrack. It is all over the place. And where there is not a clear reason for these songs, we do our best to provide one. So please come take a listen wherever you find your podcasts. And Texas Podcast Massacre, well done again. You fucked us. You fucked us hard. We watched a stupid movie, and then we listened to a terrible soundtrack. You win again.
Fucked us Inception style.
Tim, there's no one in your dreams.
There's all sorts of
people. That's who you're dreaming about.
Yep.
That's who you're dreaming about.
Exactly. Yes, you got it.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He is in your dreams. I'm a big adult man.
Well, I mean, isn't Joseph Gordon-Levitt in everyone's dreams? He's the original dream master, right? I like that do we have Freddy Krueger as...
I'm gonna let that hang.
I'm just watching your reaction, just waiting like
there is no reaction.
I mean, Nate, let's answer the question for the people. Do we in fact have Freddy Krueger-esque abilities to incept them? Is that a verb? I don't know what the verb is for.
After last year, I started following them. And when they got on an airplane one time, look, there wasn't many people on the airplane because of the pandemic. So it was wide open, definitely incepted them, and in their mind gave them the idea for End of Days. So that's pretty impressive that they figured it out.
Now they gave us quite a bit to run with. I mean, they did admittedly cover a number of my notes already.
Lisa, Gabrielle Byrne, what do you think? Scale of hotness, 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Are you serious right now?
Is it a 9? Is it a 10?
I mean, if you've got to become the bride of Satan, is that? I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse.
Bride is a strong word. I don't think he's much of a commitment guy.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it could be worse, right? I mean, it could be Louis Anderson. What? That was your Louis. What are you doing? Where's the girl? You know, like, I mean, is that what you really want to have?
Oh my God. I didn't know Louis Anderson.
Mom!
That's scarier than the Elmo voice.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I've never done a Louis Anderson impression before.
Really?
Really good.
Happy Halloween, everyone. I now know what my costume is for this year.
Survey says creepy. Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Lisa, no, 1 to 10. I need a number here. Need a number.
No, you don't.
No, there's no. Wow. Okay. This is a top secret.
All right, Nate, you give it the number. What do you think?
I said like a 6.
Hey, at least 6. Yeah, 6 feels right. We'll go with that. 6.
It's all 6.
6 feels right. I mean,
or 999. No, this movie tells us it's not 666. It's 999.
Well, I mean, Nate,
this movie's got a lot of.
Does he rate higher in this movie as Satan or as the dad in Hereditary?
No,
either way, he's on fire. So let's.
What is that up? Yeah, you got that.
Yeah. I'll get
after that joke. I feel like it is the end of the millennium. Let's just end it.
All right, but look. So we had an actual debate question in there. I wasn't planning on, but let's talk it. So. They did this. They reviewed the soundtrack, and please go check out their episode. It should already be out now. Why I Hate This Album podcast. Now there's a number of new metal songs. I want to get to some of them briefly, but one of the songs obviously is Limp Bizkit's "Crushed." Nate, where does this rank in the Limp Bizkit in the collected works for you?
Well, this was a song. I believe that was for the movie. I don't think it was on an album. This is like a non-album.
They paid
single.
for this.
This is a non-album single. This is even for Limp Bizkit. This is real bad. This is a real bad song. There's a threesome in the movie that it's a dream threesome with a daughter and mom and the devil. And while that's happening. Here are the lyrics. But you insist you got to talk that shit. You got to keep that dog ass breath all up in my face. All up in my face. So that tells you everything you need to know about Limp Bizkit's Crushed. Even for Limp Bizkit.
So
I did not care for it.
I mean, yeah. So now, okay. So you would say, no, this is not good.
No,
music.
It's terrible. I don't like any song that has dog ass breath. It's just a no for me.
Fair. Okay. So is there a Limp Bizkit song that you're like, yeah? Because we did Queen of the Damned, and there's a lot of Deftones, and so Deftones very, I would say that is more sensual rock music. If you had to go with.
This is going so great.
It is. Is there a Limp Bizkit song like for you, Nate? I've got to assume that. Any song for a menage a trois, if you will, involves someone yelling chocolate starfish at some point.
It does.
Beginning, Lisa, middle, or end.
Lisa, 1 out of 10 Deftones. How sexual rock is it? According to Mitch. 1 out of 10. What do you got for Deftones? You're Deftones. You like Deftones, right?
Have y'all just gone off the rails tonight? What is going on?
1 to 10.
Yes, I am a Deftones fan.
I knew. 1 to 10. How far have we gone off the rails? No. Here's another line from that classic song. Get out of my face, a dick that you should take, because you're blowing me away. Because this is how we learn. I mean, look at these classic lyrics.
Was that from the Bard? I don't know. Was that in King Lear? I'm not sure. It seems like dost thou blow thy dick at me, sir?
that was the first draft. It was a rough draft.
All right, so we're not getting any answer. So I don't know. I mean, no. Yeah, I don't know. There's a I mean, In Together now? No, none of these are great.
Oh, okay. So now we're picking the better.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's okay. So I think I've defined.
I just assume for you it's got someone. He's yelling chocolate starfish, and that's like, wherever that is, that's where you're done. So
man. Okay, well now I gotta think back. I mean, is Nookie too obvious?
No, Nookie's not. I mean,
is that too obvious?
Too obvious.
Okay, I can't. What about the song "No Sex"?
Although I guess if you find people who's willing to have a three-way with you to Limp Bizkit, Nookie is probably on brand. So maybe that does make sense. What a question. This is really just thrown us off the rails.
Mine is "Show Me What You Got."
Lisa, is there a Limp Bizkit song that you would enjoy listening to on a romantic evening?
On a romantic evening?
Sure.
It sounds like it's a fictional romantic evening. I don't think that's happening in real life.
I don't know. I mean, we did have a lot of fun at the concert when we went. So
we did. Look.
Okay, so good memories. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, getting
for
there.
sure.
I mean, Roland's a song.
I love Roland. Roland's great.
Nate, you. Nate, oh God, I don't know. Behind Blue Eyes, Behind Blue Eyes seems like that would be. I don't know. You'd have to be very picky about which one. It wouldn't be a good three-way, regardless of what you've got. I think we could be like nothing good's happening in that one. That's almost as bad as like if you find yourself in a three-way and ICP is playing, you're in with a hard crowd. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Get that safe word ready. Let's talk about some of these other songs that are on here. So we have Camel Song by Korn. You have So Long by Everlast. Now Slow, Professional Murder Music. Love that one. That's a solid.
Oh, that's
a solid.
I was going to make a joke about Professional Murder Music.
Oh, well.
This is their best song.
Oh, for sure. This is their only song.
No, hold on. No, the way I was saying it is that this is their best song. Oh, no. This was the hit, and it wasn't even a hit. This was the minor hit. Oh, no.
No, we've talked Limp Bizkit. I'm just going to read this. Oh My God by Guns N' Roses.
An original Guns N' Roses song. After they had been broken up for years, the new lineup with Axl Rose, and they put out a song for the End of Days soundtrack.
Now, was this with Fat Axl, or is he still like
Faxel?
Faxel.
This is 1999. I want to say it was too early for Faxel.
Yeah. So he didn't get back to being good until he was fat again. There's Prodigy's The Poison. Great song.
Fantastic. Yep.
Enjoyed it a whole lot more in Hackers. Maybe that's the next year's, except it's not really, we'll get with that. We'll film the Rob Zombie Super Beast song, but this is the Girl on a Motorcycle mix, which Rob Zombie's names for his mixes are always like absurd random shit, like Girl on a Motorcycle.
I don't mind it. That's cool.
Okay. Eminem's Bad Influence. Another
original song for this soundtrack that debuted on the soundtrack, I guess.
How did this movie get so many original songs?
I don't know. Because the movie was made for $100 million, $100 million budget in 1999.
I hope they answer that for us. Power Man 5000. So you got Rob and Little Baby Brother with Nobody's Real.
Yeah.
You have Strokes, I Wish I Had.
Nobody Real is amazing. So. Right? Can we agree? Nobody's Real is incredible.
Good. I mean,
all right,
sure.
I don't know about incredible. Maybe that's too much.
Sonic Youth, Sugarcane, and Creed's Wrong Way. Again, I look. I was on tour with Creed for Scott Stapp for a month. I don't think I've ever heard the song Wrong Way.
It's ballsy to put a Sublime cover on by Creed, but you know what? They made it work.
I don't practice. No,
there's no way it's unmixable. That would be a catastrophe.
Lisa, how many of those songs have you heard of? Any of the songs I just ran through?
No.
That sounds about right.
Awesome. Every band, I pretty much know all the bands on this soundtrack, but not these songs.
No, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And I gotta say that the third to last song was by Stroke, not The Strokes. I just had to throw
Yeah. Did I say the Stroke? Yeah, it's certainly by
I don't
Stroke.
know if you said this.
I thought I said Stroke, but let's
just Stroke.
Yeah. Like I think whoever put this together is like, hey, I like all these bands, but I can't pay a lot of money. What's like y'all's like bargain bin like bullshit?
No, okay. Well, that now
because these are songs like Limp Bizkit didn't put Crushed on another album. You know what I mean? Like this is an exclusive, or it was like they're like, we're never gonna put this on our shit, but we'll put it on something else.
Yeah, like we're gonna pay like for the first rights to this like C-level song, and then they did, and they used their $100 million for it. Now, I gotta say this. I mean, what is Sonic Youth doing here? Why is Sonic Youth even involved? I mean, this was an existing song that had been out for years, from like the early 90s or something, and they licensed it for the movie. But why is Sonic Youth in the middle of Creed and Power Man 5000 and Eminem and Rob Zombie and Prodigy? That just makes no sense. I guess they got paid, so I guess that's why it makes sense. But that was the one that stuck out to me. That was like, wait, what are we doing here?
I don't know. I don't
understand.
It's a weird, right? I mean, it's produced by Butch Vig, who, he was the drummer for Garbage, but he's also the producer for, Nirvana's Nevermind album. So, like this song does not like one of these things is not like the other.
Exactly.
So. I'm sure why I hate this album tore it apart, regardless, just by proximity. Like sometimes, like, even if you're like an okay person, but if you're surrounded by just like total douchebags, you're just like, fuck all of y'all. Just all y'all together.
Yes, I would say favorite song from the album, Mitch. What's your favorite?
Oh, what's my favorite? Man, I would probably go Poison by the Prodigy, although Power Man 5000 is a close second.
I would go Power Man 5000 for sure. Nobody's Real, classic.
Slow is really good by comparison, though.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that.
Lisa, if you had to just pick one based on anything, because you know these songs, which one would you go with?
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and we can't forget that the Camel song from Korn also not on an album. Yeah. This is from this one, the B-side.
Really?
So, yes. They got Korn. They got
these
Eminem.
Are big.
I know.
How
They spent their money, man. They got it.
And yet they used none of these songs in the actual movie.
Well, they used Korn, or they used that Limp Bizkit, unfortunately, for the three. See, other ones I might have missed because I was just too busy, luxuriating in the.
If I had to pick one, I have no clue.
That's fair. That's actually.
Was I a fan of any of these bands growing up? Nah. Not really.
While Nate,
I listened to this stuff after I met you.
While Nate was voting for Freak on a Leash on TRL, Lisa was voting for Backstreet Boys, Everybody. They basically canceled each other out.
I did vote for Freak on a Leash.
I know you did.
That did happen.
You never told me that, but I knew. I 100% knew. And with that, we're going to move into the actual movie review. But once again, check out Why I Hate This Album. Check out their review of the full soundtrack. Get into some or all the details and really just share in their misery. Because once again, we got him. I mean, it's
got him.
It's not even a challenge at this point. We just do what we do, Nate.
Just do what we do.
I don't know what it is we do, but we do it, and we do it well.
Fred Durst style. We just get it.
Chocolate starfish, baby.
Chocolate starfish.
And with that, let's get into this week's movie of the week, End of Days.
December 31st, 1999. The end of a century. The end of a millennium. The beginning of the end.
He's coming for you, Christine. Can you see him?
Who are you? How do you know my name?
He He's gonna find you, Christine.
Get down on the ground!
You don't know what you've done!
You said here the guy spoke to you.
Yeah, so what?
The guy doesn't have a tongue.
Listen to this. I've seen the earth laid to waste. Take it easy. You're the good guys.
They tried to kill me. Why?
She's been chosen.
Chosen for what?
If the Dark Angel consummates your flesh with his human body before midnight on New Year's Eve, then he unlocks the gate of hell.
I've come for my wife, Christine.
May God forgive us!
Let her go. How can you expect to defeat me when I am forever and you are just a man?
End of Days. That's a lot of. That's just a lot. That trailer is something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lisa,
Oof.
as our unsuspecting victim, can you tell the good people what this movie is about?
This movie is about Arnold Schwarzenegger matching wits with Satan while he tries to protect a truly an unsuspecting victim.
So you got some kinship to this lead actress in this
Very
movie.
much so.
Okay.
There's a lot going on around her.
Yeah.
She doesn't really know what's going on.
People aren't telling
You know,
her
she's
everything.
having visions and all sorts of random nightmares, much like my own life. So, you know.
much like your own life?
Nightmares.
Or is it
from
exactly
doing this
is it
podcast,
exactly the
really?
same? Dang.
She has a different Greek symbol on her tattooed as a birthmark or whatever. So, you know, there's that. I mean, this is something else. Nate, what can you tell us about End of Days?
End of Days came out in November 1999, just in time for the millennium. Luckily, this didn't happen. So I'm very appreciative of that. Directed by Peter Hyams. Peter Hyams, you might remember from the classic Jean-Claude Van Damme film, Time Cop. Mitch, do you like Time Cop?
No. Who likes Time Cop?
That's going to be a fun one later. And and horror movie. Horror movie about a Chicago museum. I remember right when this came out, Chicago Museum horror movie. What can go wrong? I'm like 10. The Relic, which I think is a solid film, but I'm slightly biased. That's it. That's it. Not a whole lot else. We got Arnold Schwarzenegger, not in a lot of horror movies. As we said, he was in the zombie film that was more like a drama, but Maggie, about 5 years ago. He has been in Predator, the first Terminator, which I still contend is a horror film. It's a slasher movie with a robot, and in this one. So not a lot of anything really horror based in Arnold's back catalog, but this is obviously action and horror. We'll debate how well it happens in that. As the devil, we have Gabrielle Byrne, who it was in previous episode Hereditary, and future episode Mitch's favorite movie of all time, Ghost Ship.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, that's going to be in there. And I was like, wait, this came out in 1999, and he was the lead in the movie Stigmata, which came out in 1999. That also had a young woman who was afflicted by something related to the Catholic Church. And in both movies, he fights the Catholic Church. One as a priest from the inside, one as the devil from the outside. Gabriel Byrne, 1999 was the year that he fought against the Catholic Church, and from all angles.
Oh my God. Spoiler alert, 0-2 against the Catholic Church.
This movie came out 2 months before End of Days. So in September and then End of Days. So there's that. Unsuspecting victim in this movie, Robin Turiney playing Christine is from previous episode The Craft and was in The Zodiac. Not David Fincher's Zodiac, but The Zodiac from 2005 with a much, much worse cast. So there you go. She's not in a lot of movies anymore, which is interesting. But yeah, so, and then in Empire Records, there was almost a horror movie for her in that movie. So there you go. The film, this is one of the largest budget films we've ever done. $100 million budget. Incredible for 1999. That's almost like a $200 million or 180 or something $million movie at this point. 212 million in the box office for a Thanksgiving release in 99. So I mean, this movie, it costs a lot of money. They use all that money to get original Guns N' Roses songs, and then it made bank in the theater. So they did make it up. Can you imagine if this movie had been directed by Guillermo del Toro? It could have been amazing. Or Sam Raimi. Both were offered this directing gig, which I think would have been incredible. It could have been way better. And the original role was written for Tom Cruise, but he went on to be in, an Oscar nominated turn for Magnolia instead. So Arnold Schwarzenegger got it. What do we think about this, Lisa? Would you have liked Tom Cruise in this better than Arnold, or do you like Arnold better?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
I liked Arnold in this. Y'all didn't? Was he too overbearing for this?
Well, he did get nominated for a Razzie for this movie. So.
Yeah, and he blamed it on the director. He's like, we just didn't have the right director to bring the vision.
I don't think that's.
I agree. If Guillermo del Toro was directing this movie, I think we're talking about a much more well-regarded film.
I will just say you can be both right and wrong at the same time. Was he the right director for this? Was he the wrong director for this? Yes. Would that have made the movie better? No.
No.
This movie is overly problematic for a number of reasons.
Oh, I'm excited to get into this then. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's and then of course it had an amazing soundtrack. So which we all know. All right. Well, let's get into it then, Mitch. What overall thoughts on this one?
All right. Well, look, overall.
By the way, 2 hours and 2 minutes for this. Yes. For this one too.
And then of course, so if you're watching this now with us, I mean, you can watch it free on IMDb TV, but it ain't really free. You still have to sit through those ads. And you really at one point you're finding yourself asking yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth watching these ads for this movie?
But not unlike the tagline for this film, when the ads come in, the end is near.
So
there you go.
So I remember when I remember vividly watching this movie when it came out in theaters because I thought, hey, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a horror movie.
Oh, you saw this in theater.
I did.
Interesting.
And I remember walking out going, well, that sucked. And I watched it this time around and I thought, oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe I just had high expectations. Maybe it's improved with age. It has not. It still sucks. This movie is terrible.
Okay.
I mean, in fact, there are things we'll get into it. There are things the things I enjoyed this movie have nothing to do with it making a good movie. Just like, oh wow, I didn't know Professor Sprout from Harry Potter is like, going toe to toe with Arnold. That's pretty fantastic.
Pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, that's true. And one more person in this movie who's there is I forgot to mention Udo Kier.
His daughter and wife didn't forget. That's for sure.
Yeah, from previous episode, Puppet Master of the Littlest Reich, which by comparison, this movie is like Oscar winning.
Let's slow your roll. I don't know if I'd say that.
Check him out in last year's Brazilian film called Bacurau, which was incredible, and also check him out from the 2007 short film Werewolf Women of the SS from Grindhouse, and also check him out from Korn's Make Me Bad video and the Goo Goo Dolls naked video, and check him out in future episode in one of the worst films I've ever seen, Dracula 3000.
Oh my god,
which features Coolio as the character 187 saying, "I want them bazongas." So
on that note, Lisa, what did you think? What did you think of the movie?
It was fine. It wasn't, but that's saying something, right? I didn't sit there going, "Oh God," and I didn't sit there going, "This is amazing." It was just fine. Arnold did fine. Christine did fine. It was awesome to see Professor Sprout because from the little bit that I know of Miriam, I can't say her last name, Margolis, like personality in real life, this is probably closer to who she is than sweet Professor Sprout. So
a Satanist?
She probably liked no, not a Satanist, just a tougher role than because apparently even on the set of Harry Potter they had to implement a swear jar because she wouldn't stop swearing in front of the kids.
Okay, I like that.
So no, it was fine. It was Arnold. Name me? I mean, I can't remember if I've seen Predator or not. I think I have. But I mean, you're getting the same thing with every Arnold movie, right? Arnold is in it to be Arnold, to be, entertaining with his action, no matter what genre it is.
Not as many puns this time around. I think that was a shortcoming.
No, it was a much more somber movie, which it's supposed to be.
Well, so this movie came out after Batman and Robin, so maybe he was just punned out. Maybe he was just like, no.
Well, no, they should have been the opposite. It should have been all fire puns. He did all ice puns in the one, and then this movie should have been all fire based puns. Halfway through, once they figure it out, all fire puns.
Nate,
that's a missed opportunity.
Well, there you go. Nate, overall, what'd you think?
It's an enjoyable little romp.
It's a romp.
It's an enjoyable little romp for the whole family, where a mom and daughter have a dream threesome with the devil, and Gabriel Byrne is essentially a worse version of Al Pacino in Devil's Advocate, and Robin Tierney is basically a worse version of Mia Farrow in Rosemary's Baby. It's Rosemary's Advocate.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. It's not as good as either of those movies, but the combination is basically essentially, and those movies all both came out before.
Well, I mean, look,
that's what it is.
It's
Rosemary's Advocate.
This is some of the to your point, this is some of the laziest writing, right? The character names should be enough, right?
That is
Jericho Kane is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's a great name. I don't care. That's a great name.
Father Thomas Aquinas, which Lisa for the first 30 minutes of the film was like, isn't there a real Thomas Aquinas?
Yes, there is.
Yes. It's not the same.
Don't worry. My favorite was Bobby Chicago. That is
Nate.
An all-time great character name.
Nate, I
love it. Incredible.
I would take any bet in the world and believe that you yourself were named Bobby Chicago growing up north. I like if you told me that you were Bobby Chicago, that makes sense. I would absolutely believe it. What is that name?
I don't look like a Bobby.
How do you?
Chicago.
I can't even fathom how lazy you have to be to come up with Bobby Chicago. Like, did he have a map just open? And it was just I can't even fathom how you.
And they're in New York. It should have been Bobby Brooklyn.
It's like that perfect. Key and Peele skit where they're talking about the gremlins, and he goes, "You're just like a baby, just putting two random ass words together and make a lightning gremlin, right? Like that's how you got Bobby Chicago. You just random words together." Incredible
stuff here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Mark Margolis as the Pope when we're going through our group. So this is he's Hector Salamanca for Breaking Bad fans. I really was hoping the Pope was going to have a bell too to ding. That would have been fantastic. I just
like a bell kill. That'd have been cool.
That'd have been
like a bell kill.
I mean, the Pope is just not having anything to do with it. You don't see the Pope heading his ass out to New York to help with any of this.
Nah, it's too much effort. That's too much.
Sit in that chair the whole time. All right, so this is a fun romp for you, Nate. Talk me through this. Do you like the character of Jericho Kane? Like, this is a troubled man who is drinking heavily because of a bad previous movie deal with a lot of.
Don't care
because his wife and daughter got killed.
I don't care.
Okay.
Don't care about the story at all, other than the fact that it's Rosemary's Advocate. But some of the scenes are pretty cool. So when the devil goes in the church and no one can stop him, loved it. For some reason, there was flashlight mobs. Loved it. Things exploded. There was an insanely practical effect, probably like 10 of the $100 million like crashing real trains action scenes. I like the action scenes. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's just it. I like the action scenes in this. So that's it. Don't care about the story. Arnold is Arnold. He's really useful to be like a super huge dude if you're going to fight the devil. I guess that's one positive. If you're in a physical altercation with the devil, that helps. Robin Tunney did fine. Kevin Pollak was kind of a hilarious sidekick dude. I didn't hate anybody acting wise. They were all fine. I don't think they were directed super well, but everyone was fine and the action was cool. So yeah, not like, not one of my favorites, but it was a nice little enjoyable movie. So I'm the opposite, Mitch. I was expecting, I'm like, I haven't seen this in so long. I bet it's terrible. And then I was pleasantly surprised. So it was the reverse of you coming out of the movie theater, 20 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the opening part of this movie, because I think the opening really sets us up for a much different film than what we ended up getting. And maybe this is where with someone like Guillermo del Toro, but when he's chasing down Thomas Aquinas, who I love, if you look at the Wikipedia notes for this movie, a line says a priest, Thomas Aquinas, and then in parentheses, presumably named after Saint Thomas Aquinas.
Presumably.
like big leap. You mean Father Sniper? Right.
Father Sniper.
I don't know what they learned at seminary, but clearly it's not.
Did he dip the bullets in holy water?
He should have.
He did. He did. God, that's awesome. Look, come on.
Can we talk about how dumb this plan is? Like, what is his plan? He's gonna shoot a person he thinks is being possessed by the devil, and then assume that the devil's not gonna come back and also just
buying time. Just buying time for the end of the year. Because that's how calendars work. End of the year, the devil can only be there for a certain amount of time because reasons, and it's good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know. I thought the chase scene with where he's chasing Aquinas, and then you find out like he doesn't have a tongue, but he's talking to Arnold. All that kind of and his whole like murder basement that he's living in with like tongue in a jar, all this random like symbols and stuff. I thought when you watch that, you think you're going to get a whole different movie than the one we got. Like that's more Seven.
Yeah, I was it's very 70. Yeah, that's true.
And then that's not really what we got here, but it's something. Sorry, you were going to say something.
Well, I don't know. Now that you're talking about the murder basement, I think this is amateur murder music because he cannot accomplish it. Lisa, I wanted to ask you, just in general, the plot. What are you thinking about the plot here? Because there's the movie dabbles in some world building, right? Getting you a lot of information, from about Thomas Aquinas and the devil and the conspiracy, and then the priests later are doing a lot of talking. There's a stigmata. There's things about the millennium. What do you think about the story in general? Any opinions on that?
I'm trying to think. The story was fine.
Okay.
I don't know why the Vatican waited 21 years to try and find her. They were like, "Oh, we only have 2 days left. Let's go find her." Oh, okay, sure. Take your sweet ass time. Whatever.
Yep, that sounds right.
And I don't know if this was a Thomas found her and just took pity on her and, didn't tell the Vatican he found her. Maybe. So yeah, I mean, it all falls apart if they decide to go after her earlier, right? The fact that they don't find her until like 2 days before New Year's drives the whole thing, but it was fine. The whole thing with Arnold and his family dying because he wasn't there and some hitman came to kill them was a little weak. Like, I get that they needed a motivation for him to maybe accept a deal with the devil, but I don't know. Arnold just did not play that scene off very well. Like, I didn't feel like he felt any attachment to these two people who got murdered.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Oh, no.
I agree.
And I'm like, okay.
My family guy.
That wasn't the best acting from Arnold.
That's a good point. Couldn't have just as easily as been he was gone all the time, so she got a divorce and took the kid with her. Wouldn't that have been exactly the same without an elaborate?
And then he could have been like, "Oh, I can bring you back together," or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. Couldn't that have been like an elaborate Taken scenario with like 6 armed masked dudes, or couldn't it have been just something way more reasonable, which he also could have used as a temptation, right? Yeah, the movie made some. Every time there was a choice, so like, we're gonna explode it. What is it? Doesn't matter. Is it a marriage? Is it a family? Explode it. I don't care. Whatever it is, a car, a train, a church, just explode it. I don't care what it is.
It's a weird,
interesting take.
It's a weird choice because so many of these too, where they're like, oh, because it's always trying to put them like, oh, God took them away from you. I mean, God should have done something to stop it, right? But in this case, it's not like it was like some sickness or some random freak accident or something. This is like, no, this is because you of your line of work and you testify. This was you, bro. I don't know. I thought the setup, I agree with y'all. The setup is real weird. In order to set up some weird, like, oh, God wasn't there for them. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You mean when Gabriel Byrne does Al Pacino's monologue from Devil's Advocate? Oh, you mean that? You mean that part where he does the same monologue but worse?
Yes.
Yes. That's it. Yeah.
Like, I mean, what notes was Gabriel Byrne given? Like, just the movie, just given a DVD of Devil's Advocate. Like, just watch.
Look, we already got a cool voice with Arnold Schwarzenegger, so you don't do the voice this time. Al Pacino had the voice, and you do the Keanu voice, and then we go from there. So, although Kevin Pollak is a well-known voice like impersonator, so I don't know why he didn't get any run in this one, but yeah.
Now, Nate, by my count, there are at least 2 to 3 crucifixions in this movie. Is that accurate?
There's so many. Well, Arnold got out of one. Yes. He was just crucified and randomly. He's like, oh, I guess I'm down now. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, they really half-assed Arnold's crucifixion.
Yeah, that was
but Thomas Aquinas got like just full on to the roof.
But how can you you have to like set up like an elaborate machine of some kind to like self-crucify?
mean, when there's a will, there's a way, I guess. I don't know. It was
set up
you got to have really strong abs.
That's true. Well, this guy was running. This guy was almost out. This guy had no tongue, looked very ragged, and almost outran Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I feel like he was in pretty good shape. Maybe he was training up to fight the devil or something.
Well, yeah. Well, apparently he was going to murder every banker in New York for 2 days.
Worth it.
Well,
we didn't even talk about clergy murder music. There's a whole murder sect in the church also.
Oh yeah.
That wants to murder this girl. Like as soon as they see her, and they failed. Absolutely, this is amateur murder music. Also, they just keep failing over and over again. It's like 1 on 5, and they lose. But they try to kill Christine a couple times and can't even do it. So it's interesting.
Now, Nate, again, we're from Texas, but I don't think you and I, at least I don't think we have I would not call us well versed in guns, but. I don't think guns can just shoot a whole blade off of I mean, this is the shittiest knife, ceremonial knife I've ever seen. Arnold just straight shoots at it with the greatest aim I've ever seen of anyone, which is fine. I mean, but
incredible.
It just breaks like nothing. I don't know. This knife is.
What is the moral of the story? Is the moral of the story get more sturdy ceremonial knives? Is that what you're telling us?
Yes. I mean, you're going to have a ceremonial knife. You spend more on the look than on the actual application. Clearly.
Yeah, this is definitely.
It's like when you buy those fantasy swords at a Renaissance festival, right? They're total bullshit.
Mitchell.
What? You leave me in my attack on Titan swords alone, Lisa.
Debate. All right. So you're pro Renaissance swords. What are we talking about here?
I don't know what we're talking about. This, I don't. Here's the question: did Arnold read the script before he showed up, or is he just reacting?
No. This $100 million movie. There was a good amount of that money for the lead actor, so he was there. He had this was Arnold's phase where he was kind of doing some different stuff, right? Like he was in. I remember that movie. Remember that cloning movie, Sixth Day.
No,
where there was multiple versions of Arnold Schwarzenegger making jokes to each other. If you can imagine that amazingness. Yeah, that was the next year. So he did Batman and Robin, End of Days, a Bon Jovi music video, and then Sixth Day, and then Collateral Damage, and then Terminator 3. So this is the weird.
But yeah, he kind of falls off too soon after.
Exactly. This is toward the down. This is the End of Days,
and we don't really see him for a while until the Expendables.
And then you get the Renaissance with. Wait, when did he do Jingle?
You don't see him for a while. I don't know, maybe because he was governor of California.
He was a little bit busy.
So he did Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way was in '96 before Batman and Robin.
Yes,
it was before this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I didn't know that.
That's crazy. I would say Eraser probably the last this movie made over $200+ million. So it's not like a bust or anything. But yeah, he started to get into kind of weirder, less traditional action-y roles here. And then I would recommend Sixth Day watching it. If you want to see clones of Arnold Schwarzenegger tell terrible pun jokes to each other, highly recommend checking that one out. But yeah, this is a weird phase of his career. So it seems like he's up for anything in this one, which is kind of nice because he could have played this even more ridiculously action-y, and I don't know. Did he even act in this? I don't even know.
That's what I mean. His reaction to literally watching his wife and daughter get murdered in front of him, with him powerless to do anything, left a little something to be desired. The most acting we got out of Arnold is at the end, where if you like Arnold Schwarzenegger noises, You get a full 30 minutes, or you get a whole segment of him just acting by himself, just going. You
get the whole soundboard. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, look, the whole premise of this movie is Satan's trying to get a baby mama within an hour before. I don't know who made these rules.
The rules are terrible. 666.
I've got an hour. So why
you know numbers and dreams are upside down? Did you know that? Did you guys know this? I don't know what that is.
It's not 666. It's 999.
It's 999. It's in 1999.
Where'd the one come from?
And then Arnold in the movie just predicting what I would say. He goes, "Oh, it follows the time zone." And he's like, "The Gregorian calendar was made backward from this event." What the fuck is that?
Sorry. That's how I know Arnold didn't read the script, because he's reacting, and when they're like, when he says,
in between takes, he's like, "What the fuck is
that East time zone?" He's like, I mean, that's a legitimate question that he asked. That wasn't like, did
we get the same writer for Batman and Robin in this bullshit? What is happening to me right now?
I mean,
he's like, well, they looked at the money he was getting. Like, all right, fine, but yeah.
At what point in this? Like, I mean, I just can't imagine. At some point, Arnold's having to deliver these lines, and he's got to like. Maybe it's a scene where he's like looking in the mirror, and that's why the acting is so shitty, because he's just like, "What have I gotten myself into?" like he's just looking in the mirror and just like, maybe I need to take a break from acting and just go be the governor of California for a while.
Yeah, it was a few years before that. He was probably thinking about.
Well, that's what I mean. Okay, he's like
in this. Okay, I see. This is the movie that made him become governor.
Yeah,
it was this during this film. Oh, that's insane. I like that. I like that idea a lot.
I mean,
wow.
Yeah. So, this is if the I don't even know how to say this. This movie is very rapey. very much. The plot is really centered around that, even though it's more. Even the devil's saying like, "Oh well, she's gonna want it though." Like when I'm there, it's like, no, thank you. It's so bad. I don't know. I don't know. Lisa.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. There's a lot. Let me ask y'all this. I think we've established that like much of this movie doesn't make sense. What's one change y'all would make to maybe improve this movie?
I like this.
Lisa, I'd like to ask you first, but I mean, Nate, if you have one off the top of your head,
Nate, if you have one, go first while I think.
Look, this movie is 2 hours and 2 minutes. If it was a tight 95, this movie gets dramatically better. It's way too much church catacomb dialogue. Way too much just the same thing over and over, like just chase. Too much chasing. Let's just cut Limp Bizkit right out. Just have it on the soundtrack. No need to put it in the actual film. and then I would change the story with the wife and daughter from not a 15-minute slow motion fake kidnap scene, and make it a little bit more realistic. Keep Arnold a little bit more grounded. Look, he doesn't need crazy things happening in his life. Look at him. He's like an action figure or whatever. He doesn't need like any extra pizzazz. He's like, look at this dude. He's like a mercenary bodyguard person. He doesn't need any extra pizzazz backstory. So they would have done that. And, his transformation from guy who doesn't care about anyone to reluctant hero would have been a little bit more reasonable. So I would say just those 5 things, and the movie, and get Guillermo del Toro, and those 6 things would have made the movie Much better.
Just redo the whole movie, right?
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. How about this? Who is in your remake, Lisa, of this? Who do you got as the lead?
I was just trying to think about that. Like, who would I put? Let's say I had to keep Arnold. Fine. Who would
Arnold.
I don't know who I would. I'm trying to think who I would put as Satan. Because I didn't really know who this guy was. You said he was in other stuff?
Yeah, well, he's in The Usual Suspects. That's the biggest movie. He was also in Kevin Pollak in that movie. And he was in Hereditary.
And this was 1999?
Yes.
And who were the big stars in 1999?
Could have got a maybe slightly past his prime Steven Seagal if you wanted.
For Satan?
He's just... Can you imagine?
What are you talking about? No, I'm trying to think of
Steven Seagal with his ponytail. He walks in the church. He says, "Konnichiwa."
Oh my god!
Well, let's see. You could do. You could get Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis would have been
okay. Y'all are both going the opposite
Kevin
direction
Spacey.
of where I'm trying to go. No,
Kevin Spacey.
Stop talking.
Are we just doing Usual Suspects again? You're just going to leave everyone from Benicio del Toro, everyone from Usual Suspects.
I mean, Brad Pitt. I think he was already.
There you go. That's finally a decent suggestion, Mitchell.
Brad Pitt. Oh, interesting. What about
Ben
Mark
Stiller?
Wahlberg? What about Mark Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark. No, too goofball.
I don't know. Nick Cage. You could. Man,
Now,
could you
Nick Cage
what if you had
is-
just gotten
yes.
Nick Cage as Arnold Schwarzenegger and John Travolta as the devil?
Okay, now we're talking. Okay, hold
Now
on
we're
a
cooking
second.
with fire.
Now we're talking. That sounds incredible, and I am 100%. Oh, that would have been amazing. And then there's a part where he's taken over, just like in Face Off. So yes.
Yeah, I think that's the
I can't beat that.
Lisa's right now just focusing on the Brad Pitt picture, so she hasn't heard what we've been talking about. But
Can you imagine?
Pretty much.
Hold on. Can you imagine like The Rock as the devil? Can you imagine? Could he pull that?
well, if you're gonna do The Rock, do you do Vin Diesel as his opposite?
Yeah, oh my god! But they couldn't get filmed together, so it wouldn't work out for it.
Oh my god, no. You have Vin Diesel as Arnold's character, and the whole time he's just like, the only thing that's important to me, family.
But it's because his family was brutally murdered when he wasn't there. Yeah, that's one way to do it. That's one way.
I don't know who you would replace.
Christ.
I don't know who you would replace Christine with. Like who's playing Christine in these remakes?
Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart. Jesus. I mean, it depends on which devil you're talking about. Like if we're going with our Nick Cage, John Travolta.
Can you imagine like a blank stare, Kristen Stewart opposite the chaos of Travolta Cage? That would actually be. I think she was probably too young at that time.
Yeah.
But that would have been incredible. Dang, I want to see that. Dang, I want to see that movie now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Nev Campbell, maybe. No, I don't even know. I don't know. Who cares? I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's secondary, honestly.
What if Sean Connery was the devil?
I thought you were gonna say what if Sean Connery was the bride.
Well, I was thinking like Al Pacino, devil out. This movie clearly ripped this movie up. You get Sean Connery as the devil. Now you're starting to compete with Pacino.
Not a bad.
Robin Turney's no Charlize Theron. So
how do you expect to beat me when you are just a man?
Yeah.
Like,
yes. I like it.
I mean, yeah. If you're gonna go with a devil that's not yelling at you constantly, then you definitely need someone with at least an accent or something, right? Like British.
That's what I'm thinking.
British, preferably. I mean, yeah. Sean Connery at this point. I mean, is he doing entrapment yet? I don't even know. I don't know when that.
Wait, what is what?
when Sean Connery did that entrapment movie. When was that before or after this?
That was right around that time period.
Yeah. So I mean,
late 90s.
He's clearly needing a paycheck, so that could work out pretty well. Real quick,
Entrapment was the same year as this.
Oh my God. Let's get into this ending real quick. Maybe the coolest part of this movie, at least, is the effects. So most of the CGI is garbage. We can all agree on that.
It's
right?
1999. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean,
okay, no, The Matrix had much better effects.
Oh, well, that's true.
CGI was bad. This was like bargain bin CGI.
This DGI.
But at least when Satan comes up as the big like winged like creature, that was actually pretty cool. I thought. Let's give it its due.
I thought it was cool.
Lisa, I mean, talk me through, what do you think about Arnold's one-man show of him struggling with being possessed by the devil and then his ultimate sacrifice? Did this ending work for you?
I think it was fine.
Okay. Did you enjoy Arnold?
It had a very,
it was fine.
It had a very kind of Gladiator feel to it, and I hate to say that because Gladiator is an amazing movie, and this is not.
Holy shit! That's
but only no. Hear me out. But only because of the endings. Like, you know, he's going off to the afterlife, and you see Russell Crowe like seeing his wife and his kid. Never mind, Mitch.
No, please.
You're just dying laughing.
I am. No, because all I'm envisioning is the police show up, and then they have Christine show up and be like, "This is a man who was a father and a husband," like doing the whole eulogy while they're carrying him out of the church, just like in Gladiator. That's what I'm envisioning. Sorry. No, I get you. I totally understand your point. I just can't get that image out of my head.
Wow. So the end is just, it's Arnold with the power of love, and blind faith beats the devil after getting possessed and then stabbing himself. Alternate ending, God's finger comes down and takes him off the sword thing, and then he's alive. But in this movie, God does nothing. So so that was cut to keep it consistently thematic.
Yeah, we can't have God all of a sudden showing up.
Exactly. Just laying around for most of the time.
Lisa, what do you think? Do you like the original ending, or would the alternate ending have been better for you?
I don't think it made a difference.
I think it made a difference.
She wanted to set up for End of Days too.
Lisa's already Lisa's already gotten up, heading to the exit at this point.
2099. The squid people are trying to kidnap.
We're good. Who really cares? It's fine. It's midnight. Let's go party.
That's true.
Well, look,
let's go party.
Yeah, let's go party, and let's get into the final cut.
Final cut.
Oh my goodness. All right, Nate, kick us off. What are you giving this delightful romp of a film?
It's a middle of the road movie. It's got great action scenes. Flashlight mobs are real creepy. Gabriel Byrne, he's not Al Pacino, but he's sufficiently creepy in this one. He's got some menace to him. Again, Al Pacino in Devil's Advocate is just insurmountable if you're comparing him directly, which you have to because of the exact same character they're playing. So yeah, loses points on that. The story is way too convoluted. I mean, I love a good convoluted story, but it went nowhere is the problem. Way too much extra stuff. Sniper priests. That's a plus for me. Failed priests all the priests are just bad at killing people in this movie. I don't know. So just bad preparation. This is the middle of the road. I'm just going to give it 5 out of 10 sniper priests.
Wow.
It's right in the middle. Right in the middle for me. I think it's an enjoyable 5, but I can't in good conscience give it like a high score just because it's not the best movie. It's not even that great it was trying to execute. There just happens to be good pieces throughout the movie. So.
All right, Lisa, what about you?
Mitch, you go first.
We got I smell an 8.
Sure.
I smell
an 8.
This movie's hot garbage. I don't understand what you found enjoyable about this film, Nate. Nothing is enjoyable about this
you
film.
need blind faith to understand. You don't understand.
Oh my
you don't
God,
have it.
Clearly. Besides a relatively interesting train sequence, which like had like the only like gore horror thing with like the train conductor's like heart getting like punched out of his chest, which is pretty gnarly. The rest of the movie is really just bad. Like it's not good. Doesn't make any sense. It's real fucking dumb. Okay, answer me this, Nate. If you're the devil and you have like only 1 hour to make things like happen, why are you showing up 2 days before and just like letting everyone hang out and know, right?
Stretching out, having a good time, causing random deaths to people. It's fine.
Eye on the prize.
Skateboarders.
Eye on the prize. Get it. And then on the flip side, if you're the Catholic Church, I know we're like, okay, we don't want to kill her. Fine. Y'all couldn't, to Lisa's point, y'all couldn't have like tried to find her much earlier than like 2 days. Talking about wait till the last minute to do your group assignment.
Have they ever heard of like a door? Have they ever heard of doors? Like, hey, maybe some like big steel doors.
Right.
Too easy.
Right.
I don't know. They have like they're
again,
using the internet and like 100 computers in 1999 for that money or that many free AOL discs. You could have made an entire huge vault door and then been fine, but no.
And then what's Thomas Aquinas gonna do? Just shoot everyone until like the devil stops possessing people? I don't understand his end game with this. Like,
there's a cooldown. There's a like in a video game. There's a possession cooldown. He was trying to hit it, so that the devil had to go back before his possession powers recharged. I don't know.
It's a lot of really dumb. Some of these things too, when it comes to like how the devil can take over the earth, get real dumb with their rules. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's bad. And I'm look, I gave Halloween Kills a 1 last week because it just infuriated me.
Yeah.
I can't give this that low because it didn't infuriate me, but holy shit, it's bad. I'm going to give this, 2 out of 10 stigmatas, or sorry,
this is awesome.
crucifixions.
This is awesome.
This movie sucks. It's not good. Arnold's not even like, we're not even getting good Arnold. Like,
you're saying the soundtrack
Arnold
is way better than the movie.
Oh,
you're disagreeing.
They won out this time, in my opinion.
Wow.
Because I've now had to watch this shit film twice, and so that makes me angry. This is not how I wanted to.
Murder
this is yeah, exactly. This is not how I wanted to spend my Halloween spooktacular.
Wow. Okay,
Lisa.
Damn.
Where do you fall? Because Nate and I are might as well be. I'm as far apart from Nate's score as the Pope is to the action in this movie. So,
I was gonna give it a 5.
Okay, you still can. Don't get bullied.
It's fine.
It's fine.
We have watched so much horrible stuff on this podcast.
But hasn't it gotten better? Hasn't it gotten a little better?
No, it really hasn't.
Oh man.
Any movie, let me put it to you this way. Any movie that does not give me a nightmare afterwards, okay, it bumps up on my list.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. I know for you guys, the scarier, the better. No, remember I'm the unsuspecting victim. If it's not scary, I'm like, that was a pretty good movie. I like that. You got Arnold being Arnold. You got a lot of really awesome cameos because you keep forgetting to mention that Bobby Chicago, is that his name?
Yeah, yes. Kevin Pollak. Yeah.
Yeah, that he's also on The Marvelous Miss Maisel. which is an amazing show.
Oh, sure. Okay.
You got Professor Sprout.
I looked through, I said Usual Suspects. I said Usual Suspects, the classic.
Yeah, who cares about the Usual Suspects? He's on Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Of course.
You got Hector Salamanca. I mean, you just got cameos popping up all over the place, and it's amazing. So yeah, it was fine.
Yeah,
it's a
cameo is a higher point total than you would have thought. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to watch all these people.
Will I ever watch
much
it
better
again?
movies.
No.
All right. So what's your score? So what's the final verdict here?
5.
Okay, it's a 5.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, middle of the line. It's fine. It's unsuspecting, victim friendly. It's more action than horror, really, unless just Satan terrifies you. But I mean, I don't know. He's fine. Al Pacino was a scarier Satan, I guess, than this guy. But I guess this guy was trying to play it more suave and cool because he had to go get the girl. So he did fine. Yeah.
Okay. This is the suave, cool one. Al Pacino's the freaky, menacing one.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good way to describe it. Again, nowhere near as good as Rosemary's Baby, which this movie is trying to do half of, and then the other half being Devil's Advocate, which is also trying to do it, also not as good as, but not terrible, Mitch. Some would say.
Highly disagree.
Some would say.
But you can let us know. Nate, tell them where people can yell at us if they agree or disagree, or just if they want to yell at us.
I want to, if you are an End of Days fan looking to come out of the woodwork on social media, check us out at TX Pod Massacre on Twitter, Texas Podcast Massacre, everywhere else. Give us a call, 346-246-3143, and yell at Mitch about how End of Days is not that bad. I don't know if there's any really, really hard End of Days fans out there. Don't get me wrong there, but just, an adequate End of Days fan. Just be like, hey, it was all right. I want to call where that's the whole call. It was all right. And then you just hang up because that's perfect. Check out Why I Hate This Album and their review of the Mitch Says amazing soundtrack to this film. I don't know why they picked a new metal one. That's on them. I don't. That's on you. I'm sorry. And check out Mitch's new favorite band, Professional Murder Music, while you're at it, as a nice compliment after you listen to the episode. And again, check the movie on IMDb TV. It's free to check out. So we want to hear your opinion. Not exactly the most Halloween specific film, but we never do this. we do Queen of the Damned. We do Goo Goo Dolls based Nightmare on Elm Street films. Halloween, and I think in our personal lives, is about hardcore Halloween films. But in the episodes, sometimes we like to mix it up. So yeah, and then next month for Lisa is Unsuspecting Victim Appreciation Month. So
starting off with Bone Tomahawk. So
wait. What?
Oh
no!
Yeah,
that's not. No, we need to reschedule that.
No,
that is a
request.
Listener request.
Gotta do it.
Yeah,
sorry.
Contractually obligated. Well, okay. So look. Hope you have a great Halloween. Once again, thanks to the Why I Hate This Album crew for doing another crossover with us. I don't know why they keep wanting to be friends and doing this, but here we are.
You. That's like they have no one to blame but themselves.
Agreed. I mean, yeah, next year we'll figure it out. Maybe we need to do another one of these soon. I mean, look, Nate, we could lean full in and do. We could do another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie because a number of them are truly horror films, even though they're not billed that way.
I agree, 100% agree. Yes.
So maybe we'll hit up something for the holidays. Maybe we'll just do a random one. Who knows? Who's to say?
Probably us. We probably have a say in it.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, look, from all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much for tuning in, and just keep telling yourself it's only a movie. Good night.